How can a single sign turn a football match into a war? Before the chants, before the kickoff, before the rivalry had a name, there was a highway, a road stretching between two cities, and above it, one message burned into the minds of everyone who passed by. Hell is real. But why would a road sign become the name of one of MLS's fiercest derbies? Was it coincidence, or did it perfectly capture what was already growing between Columbus and Cincinnati? Because sometimes rivalries are not born inside a stadium. Sometimes they begin on the road that leads to it. But what makes two cities begin to see each other as enemies? Columbus carried history, legacy, a club that had already planted its roots deep into MLS. Then, Cincinnati rose with hunger, a city desperate to prove it belonged. Same state, same road, different pride, and when every drive between the two begins with the same sign, what does that do to the mind? Does it feel like a joke or a warning? Because the closer these cities moved toward each other, the more the rivalry began to feel inevitable. But every rivalry needs a night when the tension finally explodes, and this one found its night under the lights. What happens when the road between two cities ends at the same stadium gates? The chants grow louder, the air gets heavier. Every color in the stand starts to feel like a side in a war. One city came to defend its pride, the other came to prove it belonged. And when that first whistle blew, was this still football, or something far more personal? Because from that moment on, the sign on the highway no longer felt like a joke, it felt like a prophecy. So when did this stop being just a sign on the road? Maybe it was the night the stadium began to sound like a battlefield. Maybe it was the moment two cities stopped sharing the same road and started defending their own pride. Because Hell is Real was never just a name. It became identity, history, territory, a rivalry carried by every mile of that highway and every voice inside the stands. What began as a sign became a warning. And what felt like a warning became one of MLS's fiercest rivalries,